Number 8. Dayton Rock. In the Taunton River, located in Massachusetts, a mysterious boulder juts out from the water. But what might seem like your average rock is actually a landmark that has puzzled historians and archaeologists for decades, and may even have ties to witchcraft. In writings from Reverend Cotton Mather, who became famous for his involvement in the Salem witch trials in the 1690s, the rock is described as having strange characters carved into its surface. Over the years, a number of theories have been floated about who wrote the message and what it actually says. From passages from the Old Testament to Hebrew and strange drawings, no one can agree on what the message on the rock actually means. One thing is clear though, lines have been deliberately carved into the rock, and inspections show that they are not the result of freezing and weathering. A number of geometric shapes and drawings on the rock appear to have several human figures within the drawings. No one has been able to decipher exactly what the other symbols mean. Theories about who made the carvings range from Native Americans to Vikings, and even the Phoenicians from the Eastern Mediterranean. Another puzzling thing is why the rock is in the middle of the river in the first place. The 40-ton boulder isn't something that can easily be moved, so whoever carved the mysterious symbols also placed it there deliberately. With other similar stones reported in Vermont and other nearby states, theories continue to swirl around the origin of the stone and its strange carvings as investigators continue their work to decode the odd symbols. Number 7. Tomb of Russian General Gaiman may have been found in Ardahan. Could a mysterious tomb discovered during an excavation project in northeastern Turkey belong to a Russian general? That was the question posed to construction workers who came across a coffin with a cross on the lid while they're working on the foundation of a new building. The workers informed the authorities of their discovery, and construction came to a halt, while the police secured the site around the excavation area. A team from the local museum was called in next to investigate, and when they did, they found the coffin the men had described, as well as a skeleton inside, dressed in boots and a coat, that researchers believe belonged to a Russian general. The skeleton was in remarkable shape, with the overcoat and boots still almost shining. The skull also still had visible hair and a beard, giving it a macabre, lifelike look. But who was it really? In the 1800s, Russians settled in the area of Turkey where the coffin was found. There were no valuable objects within the coffin itself, and researchers believe that because it was buried according to the Christian religion, the man inside was of great importance. Historians working on the case combed through the research archives and found a report of Russian Major General Vasily Gaiman, who died in the region in 1878 from the plague. During his time as a general in the Russian-Turkish War, Gaiman was rewarded with a gold and diamond-plated sword and a number of medals for his heroism. Unfortunately, none of these treasures were located with the body. He was so well regarded that both a village and a mountain range were named after the general. For historians, uncovering the true identity of the skeleton would be an amazing feat, but to tie him to history would be even more incredible, and it is something they will work towards to find the true identity of the man in the elaborate coffin. Number 6. Giant Serpent Mound. One of the largest surviving prehistoric burial mounds has been located in a small county in Ohio. Known as the Great Serpent Mound, this is a 1,300-foot-long, 3-foot-high prehistoric effigy mound located on a plateau in Ohio's Brush Creek. The stunning site is steeped in mystery and controversy, and its stark design of an uncoiling serpent is one that is keeping researchers guessing. Still unsure of whether it was built for astrological purposes or maybe even religious reasons, the mound winds back and forth for more than 800 feet. With 7 distinct coils that ended in a triple coil tail, the serpent is located high on a cliff above a stream. The mound also has a large open mouth with a 120-foot-long hollow oval feature that some believe could be an egg or maybe representations of the sun. So who do you think built this unique burial mound? Thousands of years ago, the land was home to Native American peoples who often built massive earthworks as burial and effigy mounds. The group, known as the Adena culture, lived in the area from 1000 BC to 100 AD. But researchers did radiocarbon dating of a piece of charcoal found within the mound and determined that the people who worked on it were there around 1070 AD. A group known as the Fort Ancient People living in the Ohio Valley were another possibility for the creators of the mound, but they were there much earlier than the 1,000-year-old charcoal would have been left behind. Another mystery surrounding the Serpent Mound is the design itself. Who built the giant snake? And why was it shown slowly uncoiling itself, about to swallow a huge egg? Some believe that it's possible the Native Americans who created it may have done so to represent the myth of the horned serpent in their culture. Others believe it might be a more artistic representation of an eclipse, or maybe even the phases of the moon. Either way, its creation, the people who created it, and its purpose are all mysteries that still remain unsolved. Number 5. Female hunter-gatherers. We've all seen depictions of early hunter-gatherers in Hollywood movies, but would it surprise you to know that it's possible some of the early big-game hunters were female? When scientists located a 9,000-year-old body buried in the Andes Mountains of South America, they were in for a shocking discovery. During excavations, they located an early burial that contained a hunting toolkit. When researchers further analyzed the body, they realized it belonged to a female. Because objects that are buried with people tend to be ones they used in life, researchers were excited and a little stunned to consider the fact that the hunter-gatherer was a woman. The discovery would send researchers on a path of discovery that would lead them to earlier burials throughout North and South America. Of 429 individuals from 107 different sites, 27 individuals were associated with big game hunting tools, and 11 of them were female. Even though it might not seem like a large number, the fact that any of the remains belonged to females was new evidence that women got in on the hunt. Hunting was thought of as a more male-dominated activity in more recent groups, but this new find has inspired researchers to continue their studies of various groups to determine if labor was divided differently between the sexes during different periods in history. Until then, the discovery of female hunter-gatherers is an exciting one that could change how we view our ancient people. Are you surprised by this ancient discovery or not? Let us know in the comments below. And if you're liking this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. Number 4. Crusader altar. Israeli researchers were stunned to discover that a large rock the size of a dining room table inside Jerusalem's Holy Sepulchre is actually an important piece of history. The neglected artifact sat in a shadowy corner of the church for years, but it wasn't until 2018 when researchers decided to look at the opposite side of the stone that they discovered it had ties to 12th century medieval crusaders. Believed to have been used for mass that was celebrated there for more than 500 years, the stone was often visited by passing pilgrims who would write messages on it, which is why it was named the graffiti stone for so long. In the early 1800s, a devastating fire gutted the church's interior. A lot of it was rebuilt, but an altar that had been set up by the Crusaders vanished during renovations. As engineers and architects did more recent restorations, they came across a 2-ton block known as the graffiti stone that had become a popular place for visitors to leave their mark. After restorers turned the stone around, they soon realized that on the opposite side of the panel, intricate circles had been carved into the rock with traces of marble. The head of Israeli Antiquities soon realized that it wasn't simply a rock. After consulting local libraries, historians pieced together the origin of the stone and realized that the geometric pattern was popular in Rome in the 12th century. The circular designs found on it weren't just there for decoration. They were a design that symbolized a group of Roman artisans known as the Cosmati family, who worked for the Pope himself. Further analysis of the stone showed that the bottom was unfinished and led researchers to believe that it was used as an altar in the Crusader-era church in the 12th century. This important piece of history connected the Holy Sepulchre, medieval crusaders, and the Pope had been hidden in plain sight for decades, and its artistry is only now coming to light. Number 3. Love conquers death. Tombs containing lovers embracing have been uncovered worldwide for thousands of years. But A 1600-year-old tomb containing two skeletons locked in an embrace, found in the Jiangxi province in North China, had something a little different. Discovered in the same grave with their arms wrapped around one another in a hug, the skeletons appeared to be healthy. So how did they end up in the tomb? Was it suicide? Or could there be another reason? Researchers found a simple band on the ring finger of the woman inside the tomb. Scientists think the pair were husband and wife, clutching one another the way they did in life, and as it turns out, the way they would in eternal death. Another piece of evidence that the deaths may not have been natural is the fact that the male skeleton had obvious signs of trauma, while the female had none. What could have happened to the male? Do you think he died from an injury? Was it self-inflicted, or done by someone else? Do you think the female realized she couldn't live without her lover, so she decided to take her own life to be with her beloved for eternity? The ring found on the woman's finger didn't have any engravings or gemstones. It was a simple band of silver, a token of their love that endured long after she did. However the two died, the discovery of their bodies in an eternal embrace is a striking example of love and the afterlife in northern China. Number 2. Korean crypt jewels. A large cache of unusual relics was located in a tomb in a city southwest of Seoul. Among the objects, hundreds of gold accessories were found, including jeweled beetle ornaments, along with a bronze crown and hundreds of stones. Believed to belong to a woman from a royal family in the Silla era, the relics were located in a tomb that had been excavated since 2014. Located in an area that was called the capital of the ancient kingdom of Silla, the tomb also had bronzed ornaments and a knife with intricate silver decorations. But who did these priceless objects belong to? Dating the tomb back to the 5th century, experts believe the owner was female. Considering similar iridescent jewel beetle ornaments have been discovered in tombs from higher-ranking members of the Silla Empire, it's not a stretch to think that the tomb belonged to a woman of great wealth and importance. But is it possible the priceless objects didn't belong to a woman, but instead a young girl? After studying the size of the tomb, they realized it would have held a body that was under 5 feet tall. But with no remaining bones inside the tomb to help them, researchers still cannot identify who the items belong to. Other tombs have been located over past archaeological digs, with most belonging to kings, queens, and princes. Collections of precious ornaments have also been found there, including similar gold crowns and earrings, and precious stones fashioned into necklaces and bracelets. Some of the objects were for ornamental purposes, but others were designed not to be worn, but as burial goods. So is it possible this cache of objects was left behind to show the opulent accessories worn by the ancient rich of Korea? Do you think they belong to a queen, or maybe her royal kin? What do you think? Let us know in the comments down below. Number 1. Unknown life forms in Peru. Recently in Peru, something disturbing was unearthed, and it might not be human. A man approached the owners of a local tour group with evidence of a strange life form he claims to have found in the southern desert. When he returned with his find, he revealed a strange, oblong-shaped object that looked like the mummified skull of something from another world. The skull had a strange, oval shape with angled slits for eyelids. When he turned over the skull, there were clearly areas of bone-like material, marrow, and grayish-colored skin. Could it be alien? Researchers conducted a series of x-rays and found there were in fact sinuses and shallow eye sockets. But the strange skull wasn't the only item brought to researchers. A strange appendage resembling a hand was also found, but it is no ordinary hand. It is larger than the average adult hand, with incredibly long fingers with 6 bones in each finger. Human hands only have 3. Even though no one can tell for sure exactly what type of creature the skull and hand came from, the man who discovered them claims to have found many more specimens in either a cave or labyrinth in the Peruvian desert. But with locals patrolling the area to prevent curious onlookers from exploring the location, we may never know what kind of creature they belong to. Do you think the skull and hand belong to an alien? Or do you have any ideas on what kind of animal it could be? Let us know in the comments down below. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos like these. See you next time. Bye.